Hello friends, Steve Guttenberg here, and I am the Audiophiliac, and in today's show, I'm going to review the Holo Audio Serene KTE line stage preamplifier. It's a fully balanced design, meaning from input to output, the circuitry is fully balanced. It also uses discrete components. Anyway, this is my first Holo Audio review, and the main reason this came about is because my buddy Herb Reichert, who writes for Stereophile magazine, he's been a fan of the company for years, and I don't know, I just didn't get around to it. But now that I finally have, I understand what all the fuss is about. Oh, guess what? There's going to be an all-viewer system of the day episode coming up shortly, in a couple of weeks, in mid-February. So there's still plenty of time to snap away, send me JPEGs of your system, 2 or 3 or 4 JPEGs, but they have to be beautiful. They have to look good. They have to be picture quality counts, meaning the composition within the frame, the lighting, make them nice. I take all my pictures with an iPhone, so you have the equipment all ready to take nice pictures. Just take the time and send them to me, these JPEGs, only acceptable format, to me at audiophiliac@mail.com. The address is on the screen right now. Now, what else can I tell you? It's super important that the JPEGs and the description be in one email. If you don't send them together, your chances are pretty much near zero that I will use your pictures. So before you hit send, make sure all together, pictures and description. Anyway, thank you in advance for doing that. Back to the Holo Audio KTE, the Serene KTE. It's the sound of this preamplifier that really grabbed me right away. It's highly detailed, clear, clean, no muss, no fuss, but still have some soul and some musicality. That's like the balance that I'm looking for, and that's what the Serene KTE delivers. Hey, let's take a look under the hood and check out those parts. Really first-rate parts quality. Yum. The Serene comes in 2 versions, the standard Serene and the Serene KTE. Now, as for the difference between the two, I'm going to put up this little panel to tell you what the differences are, which I think are relatively minor. But the difference in price between the standard version is $2,698 and the KTE is $3,098. Holo Audio products are sold through Kitsune Hi-Fi here in the United States, but they are available, Holo Audio products are available worldwide. Hey guys, let's take a look at the rear panel, and you will see 5 sets of inputs. 3 sets are RCA, 2 are XLR, and on the output side, there's 1 set of RCA outputs and 2 sets of XLR outputs. Hey, as I mentioned up front, the Serene is a line preamp, which means it does not have a built-in DAC or phonopreamp. And I prefer it that way so that I can pick my own DAC and phonopreamp. The preamp outputs, by the way, those 3, the RCA and the 2 XLRs, are all buffered, meaning you can use them all at the same time. In any combination, it won't make any difference to the preamp. So up front, yes, there is that large, easy-to-read display, and I have to note that the knob feel is very smooth. Smooth in its operation with soft detents as you go through the rotation. But mostly, yes, in this case, I stuck with the remote and the all-metal remote. Super easy, not a lot to look at there because it just gets the job done. As for the amplifiers paired with the Serene KTE over the course of this review, it was mostly the Pass Labs X825 and also, well, I just reviewed it, the Carver Ram 285 all-tube power amplifier. And I got to say, that marriage between the Serene and the Carver was really nice because the Carver is a pretty tubey sounding amplifier, and pairing it with a solid state, it kind of put a little more spring in its step, let's put it that way. So that was a great combination. But I also used the Mola Perca power amplifier that I'm going to be reviewing soon, in a month or so. And coming in tomorrow, supposedly, I'm going to get a set of very high-end British active monitors. And these active monitors, because it's a pro design, only have XLR inputs. There's no built-in DAC or any of that stuff. So the only way to get signal into them is with a balanced preamplifier. And the Serene, I think, is going to be just the ticket for that. Once I started listening, the main thing that grabbed my attention right away, as soon as I started listening to the Serene, was how it captured, how it reproduced the sound of the spaces between the musicians and the vocalists. There was, I love that expression, an inky blackness between them. The space was very discreetly laid out in the soundstage. This preamp does texture, palpable texture, really, really well. And the bass, it is the cleanest, fastest sounding bass I've heard in my system in quite some time. Actually, since when I reviewed the Meitner Pre last summer. So anyway, that's a quick snapshot as to what makes this preamp really jump out of the deck, at least compared to the preamps I've had here in the system over the last year or so. For music, I kick things off with Pink Floyd's The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. And this was recorded in 1967. Yeah, 67, a long time ago. But you know what? It still sounds fresh to me. I'm a big fan of Pink Floyd's earlier work, and I don't think it gets earlier than this. It sounds great. I love the reverb on this record. I love Roger Waters' bass. It sounds big and fat in ways that few records of that time period do. It just dominates the mix in such a vicarious, such a visceral way. Yeah, it's a great sounding record. And the Serene KTE just put me inside it. Yeah, it sounded super clear, super detailed. It sounded like a record of 1968, but yes, still sounded really fresh. And for a comparison preamp, I chose this one, which I'm in the process of reviewing, the Modrite LS99, which does have balanced connections, by the way. And that one, being an all-tube affair, sounded juicier, more technicolor, more va-va-voom. But I really felt that the Serene sounded more, well, accurate, neutral, in terms of giving me what's in the recording. But the Modrite LS99 sort of upped the ante by adding a little extra juice to the mix. The next music selection isn't one that I'm actually recommending. No, it's this Traveling Wilburys collection, puts out all of their music. And you know, this record, in case you're unfamiliar with it, was with Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, George Harrison, and Roy Orbison. A superstar collection, all incredible musicians and performers in their own right. But you put them all together in a room, in a studio, and I think the energy sort of gets dissipated. But anyway, of those 5 musicians, the ones that jumped out for me are Bob Dylan and Tom Petty. And they seem to work better in this kind of supergroup situation. So, you know, all in all, I think it's a pretty even-tempered record. And the Serene KTE just let the music flow. There's nothing hyped about the sound. You know, it's good. And in this case, I switched over to my reference preamplifier, the Linear Tube Audio Micro Zodal, and that one had added more mid-range warmth and flavor to the sound by comparison to the Serene KTE. So yeah, I mean, this is not really a surprise, or this isn't shocking news that the solid-state preamp, especially one as well designed as this, goes straight down the middle. But what is enjoyable, what makes this really worthwhile, is how it does it. Gives you the recording itself, but still doesn't sound sterile or analytical or, you know, emphasize the bad parts of the recording, you know, that sort of thing. No, it actually is pretty even-handed. What I found myself admiring so much about the sound of the Serene KTE is that it gave me truth and neutrality and accuracy, but still, you know, wrapped it up in such a way that it made it fun for me to listen to. Because when things veer towards analytical and hard and super transparent and revealing flaws, that's where I personally check out. Now, if you enjoy hearing the crap in the recordings and all that stuff, maybe you need something even more analytical than this. That's not my jam, not for me. I want to enjoy music. I don't need to analyze it. Hey, the next record I want to talk about is this one from Macy Gray. Now, this is a Chesky Records recording done here in New York City, in Brooklyn, and I was present at the session. It's live to 2-track, meaning there's no overdubs, there's no fixing it in the mix, none of that stuff, and also no dynamic range compression. And here's the thing about the session, is I gotta say, Macy was digging it. She loved recording this way. She wasn't stressed out. A lot of singers, especially singers, get uptight at sessions because they have to be perfect. No. Macy had no such concerns. She was into it. She sang full. She was really belting it out, and the band was fantastic. And the whole session had this great vibe, which is captured in the recording. And here I am years later playing it back and just like, yes, this system with the Serene KTE at the heart of it was giving me that kind of juice. I can't ask for much better than that. Now, all of the music I've referred to up to this point has been on CD, but this next one is on LP, and it's Brian Eno's Music for Film. And it's very analog sounding, absolutely. But this is around the same time as he was working with David Bowie's on his Heroes album. And some of the instrumental tracks on Heroes bear some similarity to Music for Film, because they're just this wall of sound. It just opens up. The speakers disappear. The sound is big and wide and deep, and it's just thrilling. And there's just all this texture, and oh man, there's so much going on. And yes, the Serene KTE gave that to me, and just, I was in awe. Anyway, so for comparison, I put the Modrite LS99 back in, and it added some heft to the sound. Not that the Serene KTE is lacking in the bottom end, but I felt that there was some extra juice, flowing through the LS99. So what I'm saying here is that, guess what? The Serene KTE sounds like a really good solid-state preamplifier, but it ain't a 2 preamplifier. If that's what you want, man, move on. Come back in a couple of weeks for the Modrite LS99. But if you want clean, clear, precise sound that doesn't go too far in the analytical direction, yes, I think the Holo Audio Serene KTE is just the ticket. I think I just did it. So Steve, what do you really think? That's it. And now we're going to do it. You know it. You love it. The Audiophiliac viewer system of the day. Hey, this is Ronnie's system. He's running a MacBook Pro through Audiovana into a Mytek Liberty DAC, and then that runs into a linear tube audio Zodal preamplifier. Speakers are open baffle, and the 2 bottom drivers, those are 10-inch woofers, they were salvaged from a pair of Emerald Physics speakers, which were open baffle speakers. And they are being powered by Maraschino Cherry monoblock power amplifiers. The top drive, I'm a little confused about his description here. The top drivers are 4-inch Alnico full range drivers. They're little coral, and those are being driven by a 300B power amplifier. Everything is running through a Marshand electronic crossover set at 125 Hertz. There's also a pair of Rel T7 subs to add that final touch of realism. When not streaming, Ronnie's using a Technics SL-D2 turntable with a Hanna EH moving coil cartridge into a Shitmani phonopreamp. For CDs and SA CDs, there's a Marantz SA14 S1 player. Thank you, Ronnie. Okay, we are back. Again, my name is Steve Guttenberg, and I am the Audiophiliac, and I don't mention this enough. This is my problem here, my mistake, is I have playlists of all these different types of videos that I make. Reviews, and I separate the reviews into speaker reviews and electronics reviews and blah, blah, blah. They're all there, so it's a little easier to find. But I also have separate playlists for just Herb. Herb gets his own playlist. My Nelson Past reviews get their own playlist. The John Atkinson from Stereophile, he gets his own playlist. And then interviews with audiophiles, that's a separate playlist. So if you want to binge watch the Audiophiliac, the best way to approach that, I would say, is to use the playlists that are all right there on the main page. But now that I've said all that, yeah, I want to point out, if you dig the channel, and you probably do since you got this far into the video, please consider joining my Patreon. You can do so for a few bucks a month, up to $50 or $100 a month. And in those top two tiers, you and I will have a conversation every month at the beginning of the month. And yeah, and by the way, if you have yet to subscribe to this channel directly, yeah, please do so. We're almost there. We're getting so close to 250,000 subscribers. And if you like a video, please hit the like button. And with that, I can say thank you again for watching. Hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.